So the Lakers have now dropped to 3-4 after a loss to the Miami Heat, another team which isn't really doing too hot out the gate, and us as Blazer fans, we take no pleasure in that whatsoever. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the Lakers. And of course, it's the Lakers. There's a ton of hyperbole around them, but just watching them so far, they don't appear to be any better than they were last year.
They really don't. They could be worse. And all the offseason there was hype like, oh, we brought in Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, we signed Austin Reeves, we got to keep Hachimura. This team is going to be even better than the team that made the Western Conference Finals last year. And so far, it's just not happening.
Before we start talking about the Lakers, if you haven't already, make sure you leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. So the Lakers have obviously struggled a lot out of the gate, and of course, it is still super early in the season, so the Lakers have all the time in the world to turn this around. And we are recording this before their Wednesday game against Houston, which, I mean, if LeBron drops a game to Dylan Brooks, it's gonna be a bad look. Even still, though, I don't think a win against a whatever Houston team is gonna cure any of the ills that this team clearly has. And they've got some decent wins. They beat Phoenix, they beat the Clippers. Like we said in the intro, they got all the same problems they had last year.
Yeah, their half-court offense is garbage. We'll talk about it more. When LeBron's not on the court, they just suck altogether. And you'd think they'd have the depth. I mean, Gabe Vincent, other guys they signed, they're supposed to be a deep team, but those guys have just not showed up.
And that gets us into our first point, is just the inconsistency of the supporting cast. It just seems like this is a fact of life with the Lakers at this point. Like, every year, there's at least one role player who just plays way below expectations. Sometimes there's more.
Yeah, in 2020, you had Danny Green, who just completely forgot how to shoot in the NBA Finals. 2021, Schroeder and Drummond just did not show up. 2022, who could forget Russ coming in, not playing well? And part of that's because he was a bad fit for their offense, but part of that was Russ not playing well. And then you had THT, who was supposed to be this next big prospect. He played like shit as well. And then last year, you had Kendrick Nunn. Dude didn't do anything in a Lakers jersey. And Russ again, and basically half the roster that got shipped out at the trade deadline.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, it's the same story this year. Now, there are some bright spots. Taurean Prince in the games he's played has been pretty good, and Cam Reddish, while he did miss the game-winning shot against Miami, has been kind of a bright spot on the defensive end. But other than that, we have seen some struggles. Christian Wood's stats have fallen off a cliff. He was 16.5 points and 7 boards per game in Dallas. He's down to 9 points per game and 6.5 boards for the Lakers. Now, he's still shooting very well, especially from 3. And he's also coming off the bench now compared to when he was in Dallas, so maybe it's not really that big of a deal. The bigger one for me is Austin Reeves. Like, the film is out on him at this point.
Christian Wood honestly has been fine. I think their best lineup has been with him on the court. So from what I think people expected, whatever, he's fine. Austin Reeves, what the hell happened? I get maybe last season was a bit of a one-hit wonder. He had a good game against the Heat, but damn, he has just not looked like anything like he did last year.
And he's not playing horribly. He's still averaging 14 points per game, but his shooting percentages have plummeted. He was 53% from the field last year. He's basically 44% now, and his three-point percentage down from 40% to 31%. Like, I don't think he was a one-hit wonder, but I will say, like, he's on the scouting report now.
Yeah, he is, and also Lakers fans just overrated the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Like, I saw Lakers fans during the offseason tweeting like, what do you guys rank this young core? And it's Austin Reeves, Hachimura, and Max Christie. I'm like, I rank that pretty damn low.
I rank that dead last, actually.
The worst problem has been Jackson Hayes and Gabe Vincent have just been straight up ass. I mean, Jackson Hayes, I didn't expect much from him. I didn't even really expect him to play much.
I at least expected him to give them decent minutes off the bench playing defense. He's barely playing.
And Gabe Vincent really is the big one. He was coming off that playoff run where he was amazing for the Heat. I know he wasn't as good in the regular season for the Heat, so maybe it was just, Miami Heat in the playoffs, they somehow elevate all their players.
They got the Heat voodoo.
Yeah, they got that Heat voodoo. He signed that 3-year, $33 million deal with the Lakers, but I don't care who you are. These stats he's putting up are just disgusting to look at. 6 points a game, 40% shooting from the field. In the big one, you showed me this, I couldn't believe it, 7% from 3. I think Shaquille O'Neal could shoot better given the opportunity.
If he shoots 100 threes, he makes 7 of them.
It's crazy.
Think about that for a second. And now he's injured. Maybe it's a good thing, though, because now he's not playing.
That might actually be a benefit to the team.
brings us to their second big problem, which is injuries. Now, the thing for the Lakers that really sucks is that this problem isn't fixable. Like, if you have a supporting cast that's not playing super well, theoretically, you can flip them at the deadline like they did last year. You can't make players that are injury prone not injury prone, and they have struggled a lot this year. Rui Hachimura is out. Gabe Vincent is out. Jared Vanderbilt hasn't played a game yet. Taurean Prince has already missed a few games, and it only took 7 fucking games for Anthony Davis to pick up his first injury of the year. He had some hip and groin spasms. I think that's a new one for him. I don't know if he's had that one yet. He had to leave the game against Miami. Props to him. He came back and he tried to play on it, but he just couldn't go. It's like, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything.
Yeah, for AD's standards, I'd honestly be fine with it. He's still played every game, and I think he's supposed to play against the Rockets. We'll see. LeBron has stayed healthy, but just given the minutes he's been playing, he's 38 damn years old. He's gonna pick up an injury at some point. So I think the main thing is you got all these damn role players out. Like AD and LeBron are expected to miss some games, but that's why you have Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt to fill that role a bit, and they're missing games before LeBron and AD even have.
And maybe the biggest problem for this team is that they straight up plummet when LeBron is off the floor. Nick Wright pointed out this stat, and it's kind of incredible. In their 19-point loss to the Magic, LeBron was a plus 12 in 35 minutes and 13 seconds of playing time. That means in the 12 minutes and 47 seconds of time he was off the court, the Lakers were outscored by 31 points.
How is that possible?
LeBron apparently is that good in year 21.
Yeah. And this is not, like, that's not a rare occurrence. That's not the first time this happened. Versus Denver, opening night, LeBron was a plus 7 when he was on the court. Lakers lose by 12. Versus Phoenix, LeBron's a plus 22 in that game, and they only win the game by 5. They cannot survive with him not on the court.
They're barely treading water. They can barely keep their heads above water when he's off the floor. And after opening night, when LeBron only played 29 minutes and Darvin Ham came out and said, well, you know, that's going to be the plan because, in case you forgot, LeBron turns 39 in like a month and a half. Think about that. He's 39 in a month and a half. And since that first game, in the games he's played, he played 35 minutes against Phoenix, 39 minutes against Sacramento, 32 against Orlando, 42 against the Clippers, 35 against Orlando again, and 37 against Miami. He is averaging 35.9 minutes per game, which bafflingly is more than he played last year.
Wild. And the weird thing about it, you'd think, oh, the team falls off when LeBron subs out. You'd think AD is playing like complete shit.
He's not.
He really isn't. He's given the Lakers 24-12, and maybe you'd hope for a bit more points, push that up to like 27-28, but it's on good shooting, and 24-12 for AD, that's pretty good, being one of the best defensive players on the planet on the other end.
I mean, if LeBron has to keep playing this many minutes, he's gonna get hurt.
Absolutely.
It's just inevitable. He will get hurt. He will miss time. And so far, the stats have shown the Lakers cannot survive without him. They're a objectively bad basketball team with him off the floor. So wrapping this up, what should the Lakers do? Well, I think that's the wrong question. I think the better question is, what can they do? And the answer to that is, I don't know.
Anyone they can pick up in that buyout market maybe or something?
I mean, maybe. It feels like we do this every year with the Lakers, though. Like, they start out, they're not playing super hot, and then we're waiting for that big trade deadline move that's supposedly gonna change the team around. I don't see it this time. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen it in years past, and they've made it work, but this year, I don't see it.
I don't think they're gonna overhaul the roster like last year. They don't have the assets to do that. I think they'll make maybe like a small trade, maybe a buyout player or something. Danny Green, I mean, he's still available. You can pick him up. That's not a needle mover, but who knows? But I'm not willing to completely write them off yet. I mean, part of that's because I'm a LeBron simp, but at the same time, they haven't been fully healthy. We've seen last year especially, they've had stretches where they can play super well, stretches where they can play like absolute shit. So I'm not going to write them off completely, but you look at the other teams, the Clippers, the Warriors, obviously the Nuggets and Suns, the Pelicans. Damn, even the Thunder at this point might be a better team. Yeah, Dallas is playing well. If they keep playing like this, they're a first round exit. They might not even make the playoffs.
If they had to make a move, I would say maybe go get another consistent shot creator if you can, but I feel like at this point they almost have to bet on Austin Reeves and D'Lo to figure it out. Now, that's a massive risk, but at this point I feel like they kind of have no choice. If I were them, I would spring for more interior defense if you can, because at the end of the day, you're trying to beat the Denver Nuggets, and if you want to beat the Denver Nuggets, you got to slow down Jokic. Notice I didn't say stop. suck because you can't stop him. You got to try to slow him down. And Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes just aren't going to cut it. And I mean, I've seen some suggestions on Twitter, like as crazy as it was, some Lakers fan we saw tweeted like, well, maybe we could get Robert Williams at the deadline. We even responded to that like, sure. I mean, this was before he got injured, but like even then it's like, sure. By the way, follow us on Twitter. We're trying to hit 1,000 followers.
Get to the point.
Robert Williams, he would have been one of those guys where like, yeah, I mean, maybe if the Lakers swung a miracle, they could get him at the deadline, but he's hurt now. So like, who's left?
Dwight Howard. He's done it before in 2020. He can help slow down Jokic. Obviously, that's a fucking joke, but I don't know. I can't think of anyone on the buyout market. I mean, Bismack Biyombo was there, but the Grizzlies were like, we need a starting center, so they picked him up. We'll see. Maybe a player gets cut. Maybe there's a buyout. Maybe there's something. But yeah, they need more depth at center if they want to slow down Jokic.
That's the video, guys. How do you think the Lakers are going to fare for the rest of the season? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.